Hi everyone, seeing this model has been pretty popular on the internet these last few days. So today I want to dive a little bit deeper into it and showing you especially what the plier head is made from. So here, as you can see, not a lot of people have been tearing this apart, so that's what I'm going to try to do today. So in order to disassemble or adjust the plier head, you're going to need first a good quality T8, Torx 8, be a Allen key or screwdriver or such. You may also need to use a torch to loosen some of the thread locker that's inside, and a little bit of a aluminium foil just to protect the parts that should not get burned. So we'll start from the design. As you can see, at one part has a huge screw, at least for the screw head, which makes sense, right? It's trying to take place of a rivet in keeping the plier head together. Now, up onto the other side, I actually had a lot of questions before I took this off. I've already done this before, but I will still show you the steps on how to disassemble. So this is actually a very smart design because this smaller screw head is not critical in holding these two parts of the pliers together. And making it small, you actually have more material on the side of the plier head itself, just making it a little bit stronger. So I'll show you how it does. So first, you want to take the T8 and loosen up the small screw on this side. So I've done this before, and this one did not give me very much trouble. All you need to do is just to make sure you hold the screwdriver in firmly and then disassemble. So to make it a little bit faster, I'll just use a electric tool just to get it off. So there you go. Now this step should not give you too much of a challenge, as at least on mine it does not seem to have been much thread locker there at all. So now with this smaller screw removed, and as you can see, the plier head is still very much one piece. So that's why I'm saying that that small piece, small screw is not critical in terms of holding these two pliers together. So how it works is actually this big screw goes through the shaft, and this little screw actually has two sets of threads, one on the inside that grabs into the smaller screw on the other side, and also an outside threads that grabs onto actually this part of the plier. So that's why even without that screw, plier would be just about as strong. All right, so now when I had to take this part off, it was firmly glued inside, so you won't be able to just use a screwdriver to take it off without destroying something. So what I had to do was to take some aluminum foil and actually wrap up the handles, right? So make a good seal here, so when you actually apply the torch, you don't burn the rubber bits that are hiding in here. So when you have all that on, what I had to do is just flip it around, use a bit of torch, and torch the inside of this thread. Because it is hollow, it can transfer the heat very effectively to the outside threads of this particular screw. So you're just going to fire it up, give it, let's say about, and then you're going to just attempt taking this off. So I've already done that, I've already loosened mine off. So we can just go ahead and disassemble it. Now, as you can see, with both the smaller and the bigger screws removed, the plier is loose, right? So because it is still kind of held in by the arm here a bit, so it's kind of tough to come out. But if you just wiggle it a little bit at a time, it will eventually come out. So here I'm going to show you the bigger screw. So it has the screw head on this side, which is fixing one part of the plier head, and has exterior screws that grabs onto the inside of the other plier head. So that's how it stays together. And this smaller one, it just kind of puts tension on this entire bigger screw and prevents it from loosening Plus, it might provide a little bit of clamping force. Maybe, I would guess, maybe 20% of the total clamping force. Even without that, the plier head should be just about as strong. So let me shake that off. Here we go. As you can see, it's a very nice one-piece hole there, one-piece design. There you go. Nice machine marks. I've heard that it's also made from a single piece of cold rolled S420/30 stainless steel and then CNC machined. But don't quote me on that just yet. Okay, so we're just going to put that back in. That's always the difficult part because you're trying to line up so many places without disassembling the entire handle. All right, and here I'm back after a bit of wiggling. It finally got back in. As you can see, one part is stationary and the other part goes around the center shaft. Here we go. So in order to reinstall this and also to adjust the tension on actually the plier head, there are a few steps that you have to do. So first, we're going to put the big screw back in and give that a little screw down. All right. Now, for now, you're just going to adjust it as you want and to set the actual smoothness or the tension on the plier head. So for example, that might be a little too tight right now, so it doesn't close back. Well, actually, it's not bad. Right. So that actually felt pretty good. So it has very minimal amount of wiggle. Yeah, pretty much none. Yeah, that's one of the nice things with plier head that's being adjustable. So let me just give it a little bit more tension. See, as you can see now, it's having the arms fixed in position. So that'll be way too much. So we're just gonna loosen that slightly. Something like so. Now it's nice and smooth. All right, so the next step would be putting the small screw back in on the other side. So everything up until this step is still very intuitive, but just wait until the next part. So here we go. The small screw has been installed, and I will just go ahead and torque that down. No, just finger tight, nothing too crazy. And now you'll be able to see that the entire plier head has been locked up quite tight. All right, so here is the magic part. So you want to flip it back over onto the large plier head and then loosen it ever so slightly. So when you're loosening it, you'll see the plier coming back to life. And you cannot over loosen this because once you start loosening, the small screw on the other side is binding it up. So effectively now both sides are under tension, so the screws will not move anymore. So you want to start by screwing the large screw, screwing the small screw until tight, and then loosen the large screw. That's essentially how you would adjust this one. If you think that's a bit too loose, what you want to do is just tighten everything just ever so slightly, and then you see it will stay. So just kind of up to your preference. Sometimes I do prefer to stay open at times, especially when we're trying to reach some weird to reach positions and it gets a little bit difficult. Yeah, so here's the good showing for this. I think it's a good design, but time will tell how long it lasts.